if you're new here, and welcome back if you're a current subscriber, seen my videos before. My name's Adriana, I'm a certified personal trainer, and here on my YouTube channel, I talk about PCOS, I share some of my favorite meals, I do at-home/gym workouts, and sometimes I'll do a few vlogs here and there. But before we go into this video, I just want to preface that I'm a personal trainer, not a doctor. So these videos I make are more for educational purposes, more like to spread awareness and help open up conversations with your doctors or your doctor or whichever professional you are seeking, so that you could get help and the resources you need with your PCOS, because today it is a PCOS based video. Since it is PCOS Awareness Month, September. So over the past year, I made weekly videos about PCOS, from explaining what it is to like the specialist cookings and workouts, of course. If you follow along, you know by then. And you also know that I'm extremely passionate about spreading awareness about PCOS and trying to reach as many women as I can to spread information and workouts and meals and create this community. And so far, I've been loving every step of the way of it, along with being on TikTok and Instagram and just seeing everyone come together. So I personally have PCOS, and like it's been one hell of a journey from being diagnosed with it to learning how to manage it, and like all the trial and error I had to do to figure out like what works for me. Let me just mute this. To kind of like figure out like what works for me, because back when I was diagnosed, there wasn't that much information that was accessible on the internet, weren't that many studies. They're kind of like, again, a lot of trial and error trying to figure out what works for you. So that's one of the reasons I did make this YouTube channel. So I'll be looking at medical studies and like analyzing them and giving out the current research that's been given about it. But here we are today, and with more research and data being done and published on the internet for us to look into. So in today's video, I want to go do a quick overview about PCOS, what it is, to the diagnosis, to the doctors, diets, nutrition, and fitness. And again, I've done these videos in depth over the past year. So if one of these topics sparks your interest, you could just go ahead and find it in my Talking PCOS playlist. So let's go into it. All right, first things first, we're going to start off with explaining what PCOS is. PCOS stands for Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome, aka PCOS, which is a common endocrinological disorder of the reproductive age. So it is a common endocrine disorder. It's also a metabolic disorder, not just a reproductive disorder, which many people just kind of use those words interchangeably, or they just know PCOS as a reproductive disorder, but really it affects your endocrine system, your metabolism, and your reproductive system. It is a condition in which the ovaries produce an abnormal amount of androgen levels, aka male hormones, aka testosterone, causing cysts to form in ovaries, but that may not be present in every single woman who has PCOS. But it is also one of the leading causes of infertility in women. The more common symptoms is abnormal or absence of menstruation, weight gain, acne, hair loss, hirsutism, just to name a few. So to be diagnosed, you talk to your primary care provider, so your PCP, or your gynecologist. Usually you would be diagnosed if you have 2 out of the 3 criteria for what doctors look for: irregular, heavy, or missed periods, high levels of androgen, so aka your male testosterone level, your male hormones like testosterone, and cysts in your ovaries. Again, you just need really 2 of the 3 to be diagnosed with it. Some women experience all 3 of them. Doctors and specialists to see for your PCOS. Again, first one off the bat, your primary care provider. That's the doctor you see your yearly exams for and just your yearly checkup. You got your OBGYN, which stands for Obstetrician Gynecologist. If I'm pronouncing that correctly, ESL. So obstetrics involve the female reproductive system, working with facility work with pregnant women and delivering babies. Gynecology involves the reproductive system and the treating of various conditions associated with it. So that's why it's OBGYN, abbreviation of the 2. Another one you'll be seeing is or you can get a referral to, is an endocrinologist. So they specialize in treating disorders in the endocrine system, such as thyroid disease, infertility, metabolic disorders, and disorders in adrenal glands, and much more. So think hormones. So endocrinologists are hormone experts. Next, we're going to get into your fertility specialist / your reproductive endocrinologist. Those could be used interchangeably. So a reproductive endocrinologist specifically focus in the sex hormones and fertility. Now, there you have to be careful when someone say they're a fertility specialist, because they may not be an actual reproductive endocrinologist. Certain states will allow someone to call themselves a fertility specialist without being an endocrinologist. Other states are very strict about it. So double check that, make sure you're seeing a reproductive endocrinologist. Then you're going to have your registered dietitian. So a doctor is going to help with your diet, figure out exactly what works for you. That is very different than a nutritionist. So a dietitian is the only person legally in majority of states that's allowed to give you a diet that involve your macros and exactly what to eat. A nutritionist could give you regular guidelines. So I have a certificate in nutrition. I can only give you regular guidelines, as in eat more whole grain foods, but I can't tell you like half a cup of oats and like 3 egg whites and avocado. I can't do that because that's very measured out. Then of course, when you have PCOS, you may be experiencing some skin issues. So you see a dermatologist for it. And then if you're trying to lose weight, learn how to work out, weight management, you see someone like me, a personal trainer who understands PCOS and is going to help you towards your weight loss journey in the physical sense. Because a lot of women, from my experience working with them, are going to go straight for like high intensity interval training, and that's not usually the best way to go for PCOS. You want to focus more on building muscle, which is going to help with insulin resistance. But what we're going to do before we get into the whole fitness part, we're going to get into the dieting and PCOS. So dieting impacts PCOS in 2 main ways: in your weight management and in your insulin production slash resistance. So insulin resistance is when your body's cells are not able to absorb glucose or blood sugar, causing your pancreas to overcompensate by producing more insulin. And this can lead to like type 2 diabetes. Too high insulin levels can cause you to produce more androgen levels, like testosterone. Insulin resistance can also be linked to having higher BMI and making it difficult to lose or manage weight. So following a diet that meets your nutritional needs helps maintain a healthy weight and promotes good insulin levels that will help with PCOS. So while what you eat affects your PCOS, unfortunately there is no current standard diet for PCOS. So some of the more popular diets for PCOS are like keto, vegan, vegetarian, dairy / gluten-free, anti-inflammatory, intermediate fasting. But out of all the popular diets, medical studies have shown that the following an anti-inflammatory diet, such as a Mediterranean diet, has long-lasting results and is the least restrictive diet and is more easily to adhere to. There's been a lot of studies going around the Mediterranean diet because it's an anti-inflammatory diet and the positive effects that it has on PCOS. Again, I do have a separate video on the Mediterranean diet / anti-inflammatory diet. But a study found that women lost weight, improved their cortisol levels, their blood pressure, and their inflammatory markers. And a percentage more than half of the women who were in this study regained their menstrual cycle on the Mediterranean diet. And again, whole separate video on Mediterranean diets and all the other diets too. Someone to speak your interest, or you want, I'm like, well, I heard keto is good. I'm like, not in the long run. Yeah, studies say it's not good in the long run. It's short-term positive effects. Long-term, not so much. Plus, it's super restrictive and really hard to adhere to. But when it comes down to exercise and PCOS, there's been multiple studies done on this topic as well, and results have shown improvement in insulin levels, ovulation, and weight loss / management in women with PCOS. A 3-month study on PCOS and exercise has shown that these women who have exercise have shown improvement in their inflammatory markers. So an increase in muscle mass is also linked to improved insulin levels and your metabolism. The thing with exercise is that you don't have to like work out 5 to 6 days a week or hours on end to benefit from it. These studies are all pretty much done on shorter time spans and not as intense. So you could exercise for 30 to 45 minutes, 3-4 days a week to improve your metabolic and reproductive system associated with PCOS. So no, you don't have to be like, I need to hit the gym 5 days a week, need to be there for an hour, 2 hours. No, you want to focus on low impact exercises such as strength training. It'll be weightlifting, yoga, Pilates, swimming, anything that's steady state. And you just have to do it for 30 to 45 minutes, 3 to 4 days a week, just to start even seeing and gaining the improvement, like reaping the benefits of exercise. But of course, over time, if your schedule allows it, you could always increase your time slightly, or you could increase the amount of days you're going to the gym. I just wouldn't overdo it. Again, I do have a video in my playlist that goes in depth of which types of exercises are beneficial for PCOS, along with anything else in this video that may have piqued your interest. Like, I'm telling you, it's like I've been making videos of PCOS for like about a year, a little over a year at this point. So I've gone over quite a few topics and been reading a bunch of studies. And those studies will always be linked in my video description boxes below. So if there's one, again, something piques your interest, just scroll through and be like, that's the study I want to read. So you just know I'm not pulling anything out of my ass. Sometimes people are like, is that really true? And I'm like, yeah, here's a study. And I'm like, read. And I just show them my phone. I'm like, yeah. Anyways, but we did go over a lot of topics. This was just a brief overview. I did not want to overwhelm anybody. So with that being said, I hope that you do enjoy this video, and let me know in the comments below if any of these topics piqued your interest, or if maybe you learned something new or would like to learn more about, or even if you have some questions you want me to look into. That'll be great. It gives me more ideas and more things to research to do for my YouTube. I am thinking about doing an interview style, possibly with a OBGYN or someone who specializes with PCOS and the reproductive system in the future. So currently working on my connections to make that happen. But I appreciate you watching this video, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It's a great way to show support to not only me and my channel, but it also helps you to continue making videos just like this and reach and be able to reach more women just like yourself who are learning more about PCOS, just got diagnosed with PCOS, not sure what's going on because there's a lot of information out there, and just want like a general direction. Just be part of a community that understands and is here to support each other and guide us towards the right directions and the right professionals who could help us. So again, with that being said, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you at the next one.